It's only a matter of time until it happens again. Hi everyone, welcome back. MTG Moxman here. I hope your weekend is going fantastic. If you're new to the channel, welcome aboard. I hope you enjoyed this content today. And of course, for all my regular viewers, welcome back everyone. I'm looking forward to talking to everybody in the comments section after this video. We're gonna have a blast. So, it's happened before, it's gonna happen again. Buyouts tend to happen in stages over the years as cards become rarer and harder to get. Now, in the old days, when a buyout happened, really it was one card. And depending on the card somebody was after, the market could be easily manipulated and prices could rise to dramatic levels based on that one card disappearing. And if somebody had enough money, they could buy out that entire card stock of that particular card, such as Bazaar of Baghdad. And if you want to manipulate Bazaar of Baghdad, all you need back then, even a couple of years ago, how much would $100,000, $200,000 get you? They get you quite a few bazaars, but here's what happens. If that bazaar right now is only $1,000 and you buy 100 copies, and you can find that many, that price is now doubling over because the market is reacting to the fact that they're just disappearing. You are now controlling a piece of that market, which allows you to manipulate the price to a higher level and sell off at that higher level, right? You're controlling what's going on. It was very easy to do when there's only a couple of key cards. But now that people are buying out all kinds of cards on the reserve list, at this time, we are going through an area where it's never happened before. When people on my channel ask what cards to go for, what things we're talking about. Now, this is purely an entertainment channel. I am not a financial advisor, but I myself peck away at little bits of the reserve list, cards I like, cards that I find valuable or could have potential value later on. But with so many cards, it explains why not all the cards are going up yet, because a lot of these cards have never been hit before in the reserve list, and some lower end ones are starting to rise over time. Some cards that have no functional value, no worth in the actual game. Maybe you have a cool piece of artwork, maybe you remember doing something funny with that card, and you're buying copies for the sake of having them. But when you look back at some of those key cards such as dual lands, you will see the values continue to rise steadily over this time period. So let's take a look here at card number 1. When you take a look here and you see that Savannah, and you look back at the beginning there, go back to 2013, 2014, 15, 16, and 17, all the way up to the beginning of 2018, you'll see it was really low. It was 50, 60, 120 bucks. Like, it had a very, very slow climb. Okay, it didn't go anywhere. But then, right around the middle of 2018, it started climbing. Because people started buying it. People wanted it for decks. Commanders becoming more popular. See where I'm going with this? It just starts to disappear. And that's a lot of money. I mean, in Canada, I think you can find one for around 300 bucks. Later on in this video here, I've posted some Canadian prices here. The rest of this is taken from MTG stocks. But you can see the price just continues to go up. Now, when we look at the next card, and you see Scrubland. Scrubland is one of those cards that's had some ups and downs over the years, but again, as it becomes more desirable, as people just try to get one of each dual land, so they can have enough just for a commander deck, it's forcing these prices to kind of, look how it looks like a step. Go to that 2018 mark, you see how it goes up, goes down, goes up, goes down, and then it climbs again. Now here we are in 2021, and the prices have not adjusted too far, have they? They never fell back down to where they were. It's really insane to think about how much these could be worth 10 years from now if people keep up the same collectability status and continue to hold on to these types of assets. Now, when we take a look at the Taiaga, here's where I started putting some prices in. Now, $317 Canadian would be for a heavy play, just the cheapest one I could find if you wanted to get one on, say, a platform like eBay. But you can see the stepping continues to happen here when we're looking at Taiaga. It starts climbing up around the same time, because the buyouts used to happen slower and it was an individual card. Buyouts happening now are targeting mass amounts of the reserve list. It's not one card, it's 100 cards, it's 150 cards of varying levels of uniqueness and collectability. Some people like the artwork on this card. Some people think maybe that card will become unbanned. Other people just want it and to play with it because they don't care what Magic says about the rules. They're going to play with everything. Now, when we're taking a look at Plateau, again, one of the least desirable of the dual lands. I found one heavily played, moderate played to heavy played for $289 Canadian. But you can start seeing those nice copies that they posted here for $357 American, climbing all the way up there. Guys, it's a step. You notice all the dual lands tend to take this stepping platform now as they continue to climb, because the dual lands will run out. It will become a desert. History is destined to repeat itself. This is going to happen. Bayou, look at that. It's doing the exact same thing. It is starting to climb up. And the cheapest one I found was 530 bucks Canadian. Think about how much money we're talking about here at this point. That's a lot of cash to invest in any collectible. It is a lot of money. It's a lot of people's spare cash tied up. So unless you have a good cash flow and you can afford to sit on these things for a long period of time, you can see cards like this continue to rise, and that's why people don't have 4 of them anymore. You're talking $2,000 just to get 4 of them. It's insane. Now, as much as I love my dual lands, I'm glad that I've not had to purchase at these super high levels right now. When you see a tropical island going for $700, that's right, I said it, 700 Canadian was the cheapest one. You started finding others around that $800-900 level to get lightly played copies. I'm not even going to touch the slab copies, boys and girls. It is a pricey one to think about. But that's what happens. Because if you start thinking of the unlimiteds, the alphas, the betas, where the numbers really dwindle on how many are actually available in the market, it gets pretty scary. It is some insane stuff to think about. Now, Tundra. Again, one of those cards I always enjoyed using because I like using white-blue, especially my Vintage Legacy. I like having Balance. I like having Ancestral Recall. Now, the cheapest one I found was $500 Canadian. And look at that step again. It started happening earlier with these types of cards. When you start seeing the 24 to 15, it starts climbing up to that $200 level. Then it's $250. Then it's $300. Then it's $400. And now we're above the $500 and it's settling back to $5. As this step continues to go, you'll see a longer stretch between because there's going to be less cards available. But the fear will be is when there's no cards. And it's all finally dried up and everyone's fighting over the few scant remains of whatever comes up on the market. That's when prices might get to insane levels. Now, okay, Volcanic Island. Amazing card. Can't say enough about it. Again, $700 was the cheapest one I could find for a heavily played copy. You can go all the way up to $1,000 if you want to get like a near mint. A little bit of a price difference there. And you can see there again, it has that step. Now, I'm talking as soon as you see the real buyouts around the 2017, where a lot of key cards started being bought out and started disappearing from the Magic the Gathering market. It wasn't just 1 or 2. It was 50. It was 100. Now, some of these are legitimate buyers trying to buy them for a commander deck. Because unlike other collectibles out there that just sit there on a wall and look pretty, Magic cards are meant to be played with. So although this market can be manipulated, somebody can take control of it, the cards always have a certain value point because people do want to play with these cards and they do want to hold on to them for very long periods of time. Now, okay, here we're getting to the big dogs here. You can see Underground Sea. $800 Canadian was the cheapest I could found, but let's face it, they're $1,000 plus when you start looking for those near mint, beautiful copies. And again, like I said, people going for one copy of each one has resulted in these kind of buyouts. People hoarding whole play sets and moving mass amounts have made the Magic market that much tighter for anything in these top tier reserve list entry level cards. These aren't even the big boys. These are the cards I used to say you had to have just to start working toward power. Crazy. And by the way, the sales are insane on some of these still. When you check eBay platforms and such, TCG Player, you can see there's been a lot of movement. Now, the last one I want to talk about is going to be Badlands. Now, Badlands was one that was really low for a long time. I remember it sitting there at that $180 to $200 level Canadian for the longest time. Sometimes 140 bucks when you wanted a heavily played one. It was really low. I wish I had taken more advantage back then because I needed a couple more. I started buying it on the uptick. I think around that 220 level, where I picked up my last couple. And that was for a vintage deck I was working on. Not even like on my main deck, just an extra one. And I think I traded for them. I didn't actually have to pay cash. But when you see that step, now at one point it says there was at $750. I never remember seeing sales at $750. It must have been a slabbed copy throwing off the MTG stocks. But I remember seeing some copies at the $500 level, but they didn't sell. So I'm used to that $450 to $510 level, depending on condition, okay? You can find beat up copies for less than that, as I show there. Canadian $3.90 for a heavily played copy. Think about this, guys. With all these cards I've shown you, these are just the dual lands, right? Revised dual lands. These aren't the unlimiteds. These aren't the betas or the alphas. They're just these. So when people ask me, what do you do? Remember this. When you're stepping into the game and you take $100 of your money and you buy, let's just say you get a metalworker for $100. 2 years goes by and that metalworker is now worth $200. And you take it as a trade-in somewhere and you get $160 in value. You've kind of moved up the market. That's how a lot of players slowly over time, they do spend money, but they work their way into these higher end power cards. That's what happens. I know quite a few people who have done this even now, but they're doing it en masse with a whole bunch of cards and they're constantly flipping and building up store credit. Like, I get it. I see how the game is played. I personally don't play in that game, but I do see how it works and how it can benefit a player who's trying to advance. But you can have hits and misses. But the point is, this is coming around again. Sooner or later, there's going to be another buyout. This is why we say hold the line, don't sell. Keep the stuff you have because you really can't get it back after you sell it. This is MTG Moxman. I hope you enjoyed the video today. And remember, it's just a game. Have some fun. Bring some friends to Magic. It's what it's all about. Please leave some comments in the comments section below. Love to talk to you guys every day. Let's have a great one, and I'll see you Sunday for the live stream. I'm clicking it off now. Hey guys, big shout out to all my patrons out there. Thank you again for the support. Patrons make this world spin, go around, upside down, stretch in and out. Patrons make everything happen. Thanks again, guys. Have a wonderful day. I'll see you soon. Well, how's it going, guys? There's quite a few things in here. I wonder if somebody's actually recorded the whole list. Because, we're going to keep adding to it, Because eventually it's going to be important. And you don't know why, which is like the fun part about it. Nobody knows why. But that 10K is going to be important. So guys, I hope you're having an awesome day, man. It's kind of funny, right? When you realize how collectible this game has become and how much people spend, it can kind of blow your mind sometimes. Especially with some of the emails I get. Anyway, I hope you guys are having a fantastic day. I'm actually going to go mow the lawn now. And yeah, I waited this long to do it because I'm tired. You know how it is. We work hard. All right, guys, have a great one. I'll see you on the live stream.